guys, how you doing? How you feeling? Welcome to this week's episode of Search and Report. I am your host, True Fernie. I'm sorry if you hear me, I sound a little bit tired. It's because I am. I don't know. I'm just tired. I apologize that there was no episode last week, but it was essentially my last week at work. So I was trying to, I'm in the transition between jobs right now. So I had to kind of like figure everything out. It was just a heavy packed schedule, but you're not here to hear about personal news. You're here to hear about gaming news. And how about we go into our first news item of the week? By the way, this is going to be a hefty episode. We got so much to talk about because I skipped last week. But first up, we got a huge data leak. Not data leak, but it was a discovery of a beta version of Ocarina of Time. Apparently, this pre-release version was found in the development cart for F-Zero X. But it was discovered that this cartridge had been reflashed and had originally been used to host an early N64 Zelda build. Apparently, half of the original Ocarina of Time ROM in this cartridge said to have been intended for Nintendo's 1997 Space World show. We've seen some pictures thanks to Heart for Games YouTube channel of some promotional material from Space World and some other various publications before the actual presentation of the game that show some very early build pre-release areas that now we people have been able to replicate thanks to this discovery. Like most notably, there is the thing about the items. The items in this, I think you can call it a beta build because everything looks a little bit already kind of finished. It's definitely not alpha, but you can see, like, obviously you still have your classic like bomb items, your Deku nuts, but we have new items like this. It looks like the blue shell for Mario Kart. There's been speculation that this blue shell could have been anything from either a prototype of the bomb chew to a landmine to a shield. Nobody actually knows, but it has been discovered in the original beta files. As well, we got some new redesigned graphical looks for the boots, as well as the arrow, the quivers in the game. And like Heart for Games notes in some of their videos. I'll link their videos down below. You should definitely go watch them. It's very interesting. They go more into in depth and actually going through these beta maps, through these even the alpha maps. I just saw that he recently uploaded a video discovering kind of like exploring the alpha maps, no textures, and just going through what the initial design process was. We also saw this little like leaf sort of item. People have been speculating that this is the kind of like the grass leaves that Link would use to call Epona instead of the Ocarina. Apparently that was part of the beta build. You also got a whole myriad of new arrow. I forget the word, man. I can't talk. I'm telling you, I'm feeling terrible today. I don't know why. I'm tired. But we keep it going. A lot of different, as we know, we had fire arrows, we had ice arrows, we had light arrows, but apparently there were going to be all kinds of different arrow abilities depending on the different temples that Link would go to. For example, the forest temple, the shadow temple, etc., etc. There were also in addition, a lot of redesigns, like early designs, for example, for the notes. Whenever Link would learn a song for the Ocarina, it would be signaled as an item inside your menu as a note. Here we see some early designs of those notes. We also saw some what are essentially the spiritual stones in the form of clefs. Since a lot of items in this, a lot of the game is based on music. Ocarina of Time, it's even in the name of the game. It has a musical instrument, but the spiritual stones have a very peculiar design. They all have like they're in the shape of clef notes. We also got different variety of keys. People do not know exactly what these keys are for. If people know, go ahead and let me know down in the comments. But yeah, a lot of interesting discoveries were made, and anonymous collectors, anonymous story, anonymous history, video game history preservers are currently working towards this, towards like unearthing more of this cartridge. And it's just interesting. Like I'm currently, if you're watching the video version, which you should, on YouTube at True Fernie, where there's been a bunch of different beta maps for different dungeons inside of Ocarina of Time. Right now we're seeing what is the Deku Tree beta map or beta dungeon, which is very, very different from what we actually got in the first dungeon of the retail version of Ocarina of Time. There is a multitude of different other maps that were found inside of this cartridge. There was an archery field that was apparently part of the promotional images from Space World. There was also a huge map called Goron Mines, which essentially would be some type of a Goron Mines or a maze, so to speak. There is also a very early version of Lake Hylia, which is extremely big, but we still see some very very familiar areas and views from the original game. For example, you got the laboratory here with the little dock next to it, and just very early designs of what essentially became what was essentially included in the retail version of the game. To my knowledge, I know people are still unearthing stuff from this ROM. As I've always said, The Legend of Zelda is my favorite game. It is my favorite game, video game franchise of all time. So looking at this, I know a lot of people have been, trying to always find new stuff with Ocarina of Time. It is a classic game. It is probably one of the most famous games in video game history. And I know people have been very, very excited to find out more about the early development of this game. As we all know, a lot of N64 development stuff was lost to time. And, people who want to preserve the history of video games are really interested in unearthing more of these discoveries. But yeah, as I said, also some early designs of Hyrule Field, Hyrule Castle, Castle Town, some alpha builds of Castle Town, some alpha builds of outside of the Temple of Time. And it's very interesting to see like how some of these famous areas come to be. Like this is like me just as a kid again discovering for the first time Hyrule Field, like just rolling around Hyrule Field and be like, damn, this place is big. I can't wait to discover every single nook and cranny. Well, looking at this new stuff, it's really interesting to see like, damn, we could have some landmines. We could have had, I don't know, the blue shell for Mario Kart. I don't even know if that makes sense. But even the early designs were a little bit more bubbly, more, I don't know, it looked a lot more like a kid's game than, what we essentially got as the retail version. But yeah, it's interesting, very interesting. I love all these beta builds that people find, and all these as we all know, last year we got a huge Giga leak from Nintendo, and like I had a field day, man. When that came out, I had a field day just looking through every single early development stage for Star Fox 64, for Super Mario 64, and just unearthing secrets about your childhood is amazing. Like it reminds me of that time of when you were a kid and you were trying to beat this game and you just couldn't find ways to beat it, and you would go to recess, go to school, go to recess, talk to your friends and like tell them like, hey, I've been having a lot of issue trying to like get through this temple or whatever, and they'll tell you, and they're like, oh yeah, and there's this secret room here. Like that's what feels like. It's just it brings up a lot of a huge sense of wonder back into me, and I love that these things are coming out, and hey, I don't know if it's legal, but whatever. We're not lawyers. We won't deal with that. We're not. It's not our business. But yeah, interesting times. Of course, I'll keep people updated and see if there's anything else. But interesting stuff. On to our second news item of the week. GTA 6. There's apparently a patent that was filed recently by Rockstar that points to smarter NPCs. Here, the Times Live reported GTA 6 could feature much more random and intelligent NPC behavior. Grand Theft Auto 6 might not officially exist just yet, but it's only a matter of time before Rockstar Games lifts the lid on its incredibly lucrative franchise and gets the hype ball rolling down the hill. Each GTA game has been a showcase of some pretty impressive technology over the years. In a new patent filed by the Take-Two Interactive parent company of Rockstar hints at improving the artificial intelligence within its games by a significant margin. The patent that was spotted by Reddit is of a system and method for virtual navigation in a gaming environment and dates back to October 2020. So it's a very recent piece of technology or coding. According to the documents, conventional systems only provide limited resources for developers seeking to add active elements to their games, which boils down to every object in motion within the game. Think a pedestrian milling about on the street, a car taking a certain route, or a plane flying over you. Every single one of these elements runs in a specific script, and only a certain number of scripts can be active at any given time, all resulting in a uniform selection of behavior, speed, and responses. Rockstar wants to change these deficient systems and instead produce a realistic visual world that is not limited by hardware or software limitations. From what I understand for this, it seems that Rockstar is going forward to a more smart AI, an AI that isn't necessarily following a certain set of rules and is more of like conscious of its own self, of its decisions. It sounds very interesting. It might prove to be a next step in next gen open world games. I'm super interested. I've been a big fan of Grand Theft Auto ever since San Andreas. I played every single game from San Andreas to the current one, because I was a little bit too young for the earlier ones. But yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to happen with this and see how it gets implemented in GTA 6. If this is going to be for GTA 6, I think it's all speculation at this point, because NPC AI can be applied to a whole myriad of games from Rockstar. It can be Bully, it can be Red Dead Redemption, it can be maybe just a DLC for Red Dead Redemption, or maybe just DLC for GTA 5, because as we all know, Rockstar is not in the business of making games. They're in the business of updating games and keeping games alive. Like at this point, GTA 5 is a live service. Like it's no longer a game. It's basically Half-Life 3 at this point. But here Times Live also further reports GTA 6 won't be here anytime soon, but according to recent rumors, it'll be returning to the sunny shores of Vice City and it'll arrive in 2023. Rockstar doesn't have anything to worry about though, as it can take as much time as it wants on the sequel thanks to GTA 5's online multiplayer still being a wildly successful spin-off that brings in obscene amounts of cash every month. What did I say? What did I just say? I didn't even have to read that last paragraph. But yeah, I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds like we'll be able to see some interesting tech as far as NPCs. Man, just imagine the like even in Red Dead Redemption, you're already seeing some huge steps over some amazing technology as far as NPCs. Like you could follow a certain person through their day, and like they have a routine to follow. For example, the shopkeeper, if you go to the shop at like 5-6 a.m. or so, they'll be doing some stock check, going through every single thing in their inventory, and then opening the store, going doing the store, and maybe afterwards they go to the bar or whatever, go to the saloon, get a drink, go to bed, wake up, and do the same thing over again. Like they have daily lives. Like this is, to me, when I saw that, when I read about that, when I saw it in action, I was like, this game was a PS4 or Xbox One next gen open world experience. Like this is why I'm also very upset at Cyberpunk, man. Like there's this technology out there already, and like there's no excuses to be dealing with very dumb AI. You know, dumb AI is a thing from the past. I mean, it's still it still serves its purpose. It's pretty funny. It's really funny to see some pretty stupid AI. Shout out to Cyberpunk. I'll never stop talking about it. But going forward to our third news item of the week, this is a bit of a sad piece of news. A very, very big Zelda designer. I hate using the word big. A very prominent and famous Zelda designer has officially retired. Takaya Imamura, designer of Tingle, Fox McCloud, Captain Falcon, retires. Here, the Nintendo Enthusiast.com website states, Takaya Imamura has on Facebook announced his retirement from Nintendo over 3 decades after he joined the company. Imamura worked on some of Nintendo's biggest franchises over the years, including F-Zero, Star Fox, and The Legend of Zelda, and he provided character designs for Captain Falcon and Fox McCloud. That is an exceptional resume. Like, I mean, those are the main characters of franchises. That is amazing. However, the designer is also known for one character in particular from The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Takaya Imamura designed Tingle, the Zelda character who just keeps returning following his appearance in Majora's Mask. From having his own Japan exclusive games to even appearing in Hyrule Warriors as DLC, Tingle is a memorable character for better or worse. Hey man, put some respect on my man Tingle. However, even if Tingle himself might stick around forever, his designer is indeed leaving. Takaya Imamura said on the Facebook message, "Today is my last day coming to work. I took a selfie with the empty office building. It feels pretty sad to think about not coming here anymore. Hats off to myself for 32 years of hard work." The designer's post is indeed accompanied by a selfie from outside of Nintendo's offices, which are empty due to COVID-19 and the world's shift to working from home. Imamura first joined Nintendo in 1989 as a graphic designer, and fans will be seeing the characters and worlds he designed for many more years to come. Let's see if Tingle continues to appear in mainline Zelda. Yeah, well, as I said, some very, very sad news. You know, he was the main designer behind Tingle, which I will say is one of my favorite Zelda characters, because he's just a man. He's a 35-year-old man trying to live his life, trying to follow his dreams, pursue his dreams of being a cartographer, and, you know, dress up as a fairy. That's all he wants in life, and he's pursuing it. But yeah, sad news, sad, very sad news. But hey, at least we still got Tingle. Now for our fourth news item of the week, this one is going to be a little bit, it's more of a short news item, but very, very interesting. There is a melee mod that lets you play volleyball. Apparently I can't say the V right. My girlfriend once told me that I say V with a B instead. You know, I pronounce it like a B. Volleyball, whatever. I digress. Team Akanea, the Twitter account for Team Akanea, tweeted, "Introducing the Akanea build. New, viable, and authentic content is coming to Melee, powered by our new MX system." Apparently, they implemented through a mod volleyball into Melee. It looks very, very interesting. It looks very, very fun. I'm not gonna lie. Here there's some more details about what's included, including some new skins for some of the characters. Oh, and also, more interestingly, one of the more interesting things about this mod is that they added, you know, somebody who's already in Ultimate and is one of, you know, my favorite characters in Ultimate. They added Fox's rival. I should have just kept going. I should have believed in myself in that sentence. Fox's rival, Wolf. Obviously, this is more of just like a skin, more of like just a reskin of Fox McCloud, but it is very, very fun and interesting to think that people are still building some very interesting things with Melee in almost, what is it, 20 years? I think it's more than 20 years now, or it's about to be 20 years since it first came out. But yeah, they added a new mod as well where you can play basically volleyball. It looks amazing. It looks super fun, and I hope Nintendo doesn't shut this down, and I hope they actually implement it to Ultimate, because Jesus Christ, this looks amazing and this looks very, very fun. But shout out to the Melee community out there. Hashtag save Melee. You guys are really doing God's work with all these mods and just keeping the game alive. Like, it's amazing to me to see just how alive this game is still. Like, it's interesting. It's amazing. It's an amazing community. But yeah, if you're into this, make sure to look research more on Team Akanea and the stuff they're doing as far as their mods for Super Smash Bros. Melee. Interesting stuff. Now, if we can only get it to Ultimate. Another short news item for this week. We got news that the Uncharted movie has been pushed back from this July to February 11th of 2022. Now, as we all know, the video game industry has had a terrible record as far as video game movies. It is, I mean, we all remember the Super Mario film. That is one of the worst films ever. I mean, it's not one of the worst, but it's still pretty bad. We got Monster Hunter, which, Jesus Christ, my guy, man, what are you doing? What are you guys doing to the franchises, man? But Sony does seem like they're putting a lot of their first party titles to the big screen, to the silver screen. But yeah, here Engadget reports that the Uncharted movie release date slides to February 11, 2022, which I believe has to do with the COVID pandemic. But they report here, word of an Uncharted movie started flowing around even before the second game in the series came out. We've been talking about it since at least 2008, many years before filming supposedly wrapped in October of last year. However, in the era of COVID, movie release schedules continue to shift to studios looking for a way to get in front of theatrical audiences. And now Sony Pictures has released new premiere dates for several upcoming movies. Oh my God, man, I'm sorry. But yeah, apparently our one of our favorite characters in video game history, Nathan, will not be coming till 2022, portrayed by our boy Tom Holland. I'm excited for this movie. I'm excited for this movie as much as I'm excited for the Indiana Jones movie, as far as I'm excited for any other video game movie. I'm excited for the second movie for Sonic. It looks like studios are kind of understanding now how to produce these, how to translate video games into the silver screen to the big screen, because it's not easy, man. It's really not easy. You know, video game being such an involving and a very engaging medium, it's really hard to translate that same energy, that same feel from a video game to just, you know, something that you just look at rather than participate in. So there's a lot of more like character development that has to be focused on. There has to be a lot more story driven narratives. You know, obviously video games do tell stories, but I mean, half of the time, all my what you call them, all my Breath of the Wild fans can agree that, you know, Breath of the Wild is amazing because of its gameplay, because of how great the gameplay is and how engaging it is, not so much the story. So like, just think of it this way: if they ever made a Breath of the Wild movie, they would have to develop storylines and just build up the story that just doesn't exist there. It's pretty barren. So it looks like movie studios are now understanding more and more how to tell these stories, how to translate video games to the silver screen. And, you know, hey, if you're an Uncharted fan, 2022 is going to be a big year for you. I'll just say that. And now for our next news item of the week, this one was hilarious and it drove people off the wall. And I kind of speculate that this was all, honestly, I wouldn't put it past them, but you know, I'm a cynic at heart when it comes to video game companies. It kind of felt like it was a marketing scheme. I think it was like a promotional thing, you know, to get some publicity there. And I mean, I don't know. You decide. You decide. But Xbox, Microsoft, they updated their Xbox Live Gold pricing. And when I say updating, they increased it. And people were not happy. They were not very happy. Here, the Warrior64 Twitter account tweeted in a screenshot of the changes that Microsoft was going to put in place, which were, if you're an existing online 12-month or 6-month Xbox Live Gold member, there's no price change. If you choose to renew your membership, it will renew at the current price. The price of a 1-month gold membership is increasing $1, and the price of a 3-month membership is increasing $5, or the equivalent amount in your local market. If you'd like to upgrade to your gold membership to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, your remaining gold time will also convert directly to Ultimate after 36 months. For example, if you have 11 months of Xbox Live Gold now and you upgrade to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, those 11 months convert to 11 months of Ultimate at no additional cost. Members have already been notified in some regions. If you're in a region where prices are being adjusted, you will receive an email and a message center notification over the next month letting you know what the new pricing is for your membership. Going forward, new pricing will be 1 month for $10.99, 3 months for $29.99, and 6 months for $59.99, or your local market equivalent. It was just, people were just, this came out of nowhere. They just came out of nowhere. Like, they went from Xbox Live was going to be free to, you know, Xbox Live now is double the price. It was insane. It was crazy. Like, I know that a lot of people were thinking that Microsoft was going to make Xbox Live free. But they said, you thought we got to make this money, but like I said, they backtracked. They basically backtracked. They essentially, after like literally a few hours, they were like, you know what, we messed up. They said that they said we messed up and you were right, and you let us know. Connecting and playing with friends is a vital part of gaming, and we failed to meet the expectations of players who count on it every day. As a result, we have decided not to change Xbox Live Gold pricing. We're turning this moment to an opportunity to bring Xbox Live more in line with how we see the player at the center of their experience. Free-to-play games will truly be free, and you will no longer need an Xbox Live Gold membership to play those games on Xbox. We're working hard to deliver this change as soon as possible in the coming months. If you're an Xbox Live Gold member already, you stay at your current price for renewal. New and existing members can continue to enjoy Xbox Live Gold for the same prices they pay today. The US $9.99 for 1 month, $24.99 for 3 months, $39.99 for 6 months, and $59.99 for retail 12 months. Free-to-play games will no longer require Xbox Live Gold membership on Xbox as well. Free-to-play games will be truly free. This was just a terrible decision by Microsoft. I mean, in a pandemic, how are you gonna double your price? Like, people, especially right now with next generation of consoles, like, you want people to come to your platform regardless. And I think like doing a price increase like this, a doubling of your price, is never good. Like, you're trying to get people away from Sony. Why would you be doing that? Like, why would you be why would you want to increase your price? Like, they got greedy. I think they got greedy, but at the same time, I think this was just publicity. I think this was honestly just publicity. It brought a lot of attention to Microsoft, which I think they were yearning for. They needed it, to be honest. Not a lot of things going on in the Xbox world, besides, you know, development of new games, whatever. But yeah, shout out to all my people who just bullied Microsoft into retracting this price change, because that's what's happened. They were bullied into going back But hey, funny stuff if I do say so myself. Now for our next news item of the week, and I'm very excited about this because I recently just talked about it, and I did a video on this recently. I should have just waited, man. If I knew a new special edition Nintendo Switch was gonna come out, I would have waited, man. I would have waited because I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the nicer looking Nintendo Switches that's come out to date, and I think it's because of the gold little vinyls, the gold little designs in it, on it, on it. I'm sorry, I'm not a native speaker, so you better give me some patience. But we got a new Nintendo Switch console coming in March. It's coming out on March 26th, and it is a Monster Hunter Rise Special Edition, as well as a specially designed Pro Controller. This design looks amazing. I mean, I still hope, I still kind of wish that Nintendo would go and get crazier with the dock designs. Like black is just so boring. It just looks like a boring console when it's just black. Like, I don't know. They should have done like a fully gold dock, and I think people would have bought that like hot pancakes. Like, it would have gone crazy. But the designs are cool. There's obviously, coming out for the release of Monster Hunter Rise, which is an exclusive Monster Hunter game for the Nintendo Switch, which I played the demo. It's amazing. It runs very, very smoothly. I didn't run into any issues when I played the demo. So if you're a Monster Hunter fan, I'm sure you're gonna get it. I recommend it. If you're into these if you've never played a Monster Hunter game, I think this is a great game to get started on. It has a very steep learning curve. At least there was one for me. There were a lot of things that I understand when I play Monster Hunter World, but I will say it's a very, very fun game. It's a very fun game to play with friends. It's a very fun game to play by yourself, and it's a very challenging game. Obviously, it's a Monster Hunter game, so you hunt monsters. But yeah, we got this. The designs are pretty neat, I will say. I like the design on the dock. Also the back. Finally, thank you, Nintendo, focusing on the back of the console. Jesus, that's all we want. That's all we asked for. We want some more designs on the back. Y'all went crazy with the Animal Crossing one. Please keep going. Please keep going with these crazy designs. And this also kind of brought up speculation that there may be a new special edition Zelda console for this year. As we know, in February it'll be the 35th anniversary for the Zelda franchise, and the speculation is off the charts. And I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that there might be a Zelda console coming for the Nintendo Switch. People are speculating also about a collection for the 3D Zelda games. People are also speculating that Breath of the Wild 2 might come out this year as part of the 35th anniversary. And like, I don't care. As long as the console comes out, I'm probably gonna get it if it's a Zelda collection. But we also got a Monster Hunter Rise Pro Controller. This Pro Controller is also very nice looking, and I still have yet to buy a Pro Controller. And people keep telling me that the Pro Controller is one of the best controllers Nintendo has ever made. I gotta get me one. I kind of want to get one of the white ones. They look really nice. And now that I got the PS5, like I'm kind of getting converted towards the white console, the white controller fad. My PC is white. I come from Mac. I was a Mac kid for the longest time. Even my chair is white. Damn, I do have a lot of white devices. My mouse is white. My keyboard is white. Damn, bro. Shit. If they make that Zelda console white, it's over, man. I'm probably gonna buy 3 of those. But yeah, if you're a Monster Hunter fan, go ahead and get yourself this console, because I will say it looks beautiful. And also, what happened to when special edition consoles came with the game that they were the special edition of? Like, do you remember those days when you would buy a special edition console and it came with the game? Like, Nintendo, just include the game. Just increase the price for like $30. People are already buying a whole console for that game. Like, what's going on here? Like, am I missing something? I don't know, but yes, Monster Hunter Rise console coming out pretty soon. Oh, apparently I think it's already. It might be available already. Let me look this up real quick. Console, Monster Hunter Rise console. Oh, oh. Hey, call me silly. I am a dummy dum dum. The Switch console bundle coming alongside the game on the 20. Oh, it actually comes with the game. Okay, okay. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Although this might just be for Europe, because this is I'm actually looking at it right now, and it's a Europe website. But yes, check out Monster Hunter Rise. There's a demo on the eShop right now. Go ahead and download it. I recommend it. It's fun. Now I swear to God, I've been talking about Cyberpunk since the week it came out. I think a little bit before. Ever since November, I've been talking about Cyberpunk at least once a month. At least twice. I'll be honest. I think at least twice a month I've been talking about in search and report of Cyberpunk. But Jesus Christ, man, this is historical. This game was historical. I think people are going to be writing essays about this game. But Cyberpunk did open up their modding support tools for the public. Here, the cyberpunk.net website states, below you will find official tools and resources that will help you modify and create your own experiences in the world of Cyberpunk 2077. Tools will be continuously updated alongside with game patches to ensure compatibility. Before downloading and diving in, please make sure you read the license agreement. So essentially, Cyberpunk said, yo, fix our game. We're tired of working on this game. We already lost a lot of money in this game. Here you go. Here, take it. Make it yours. But no, in all seriousness, CD Projekt Red has been known to do this. They allow modding on The Witcher 3. They've always kind of like provided their modding tools to the general public, and I'm really interested to see what comes from this, what people do with these tools, because I know there's a lot of very talented people. Like, wasn't there, I think there was for Fallout 76, I think people actually modded NPCs into the game. Like, they did Bethesda's work. Like, wow. Like, I'm always surprised. I'm always amazed by independent modders and like just the modding community in general. They're geniuses. They're truly masters of their craft. They're amazing. But I will say there was already a controversial mod that left no other choice, but it left me no other choice but to laugh. Cyberpunk 2077 bans unauthorized Keanu Reeves sex mod. Have sex as Keanu Reeves, not with Keanu Reeves. Yeah, this is what happens when you give the tools to the internet, man. Cyberpunk 2077 creator CD Projekt Red would kindly like modders to stop making Keanu Reeves into a sex object. Following a fan mod that allowed players to have sex with Reeves' character, Johnny Silverhand, the developer told PC Gamer that user-generated content cannot be harmful towards others, especially when it comes to mods. In the case of model swaps, especially those that involve explicit situations, it can be perceived as such by the people who lend us their appearance for the purpose of creating characters in Cyberpunk 2077. Eurogamer first reported on the Nexus mod files that swapped a sex worker Joy Toy character model for Reeves' Johnny. In the mod, Johnny, who remains clothed, is now the sexualized character seen through the player's eyes. It also uses a Joy Toy's voice acting throughout the brief scene. So it's not necessarily like a full mod, like it's not really Johnny Silverhands, it's just the model being swapped for one of the Joy Toys, as they call them in the game. I mean, that's just making, they're prostitutes. Like, can we just normalize sex work? It's not that big of a deal. Like, come on. But yeah, it's yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you open the tools, your modding tools, to the people, and they get real creepy real fast. I wonder what Keanu Reeves is thinking about this. Like, has anybody asked Keanu Reeves what he thinks about the whole Cyberpunk situation? Like, I really want to know what goes through his mind right now as far as the outcome of Cyberpunk. Is this what he saw as happening? I mean, I'm sure he did. I mean, he's just lending his voice and his appearance for it, but I wonder how he feels about people having sex with him though. I bet that I'd be weirded out. I'd be very, very weirded out. But yeah, hey, if you're a modder, shout out to you, man. Just please fix the game. If you can add that GTA 6, at least GTA 5 AI technology into Cyberpunk. First of all, you're gonna get shut down by CD Projekt Red. But second of all, let me know so I can download it. Okay. For our final news item of the week, I actually thought this was gonna be longer. I don't know why. Oh well, 41 minutes long enough. Like, nobody wants to listen to my voice for that long now, do you? Oh, you do? Okay. Eurogamer here reported that, apparently the Joycon Drift is now getting investigated by European agencies, for consumer protection agencies in Europe. Eurogamer here states, after 25,000 complaints, EU calls for investigation into Nintendo Switch Joy-Con Drift. Has been an update ever since its 28th of January news. EC confirms it will now consider potential action. The European Commission has released a statement outlining its potential next steps regarding the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con Drift, prompted by calls for it to act from its own European consumer organization, the BEUC. The matter is now in the EC's hands, and it will now decide how to investigate further and potentially coordinate action against Nintendo in line with the Consumer Protection Cooperation (CPC) regulation, which enforces consumer rights consistently across the single market. Here from the original story, in the vast majority of cases, the 25,000 complaints, 88% of Nintendo Switch owners reported issues with their Joy-Con controllers within the first 2 years of use. I've experienced it within the year, like Jesus. But complaints have been received from Switch owners in France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Portugal, Italy, Norway, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Greece. This has become a huge issue for Nintendo, and the longer they stay quiet about it, I think the worse these problems are going to become. There's been calls of, Nintendo not just only fixing Joy-Con Drift going forward, but an actual overhaul of the design. Here, Eurogamer further states, consumers assume the products they buy to last an appropriate amount of time according to justified expectations, not to have to pay for expensive replacements due to a technical defect. The BEUC boss Monique Goyen said, Nintendo must now come up with proper solutions for the thousands of consumers affected by this problem. There's been obviously calls for a total overhaul of the design of the Joy-Con because this is an ongoing issue. There still hasn't been there hasn't been a revision for Joy-Cons. Much like the revised Nintendo Switch console that we got in 2019 with the red box and the extended battery life. So this is a problem that's just going to keep going, and it'll be interesting to see how Nintendo approaches fixing this problem. They've obviously already kind of offered to fix Joy-Cons that are affected by Joy-Con Drift, but even after fixing them, there's Joy-Con Drift still is a constant issue with Joy-Cons, even if they're refurbished, even if they're self-fixed, even if it doesn't matter. I've had to replace my Joy-Con joystick once, and I'm already having issues with it. Like it's essentially a design problem. It's a technical and mechanical and design issue from the get-go. And Nintendo has obviously provided little to no support, and it looks like huge consumer protection agencies are getting involved. So it'll be interesting to see. There's been obviously talks about the Nintendo Switch Pro rumors. It'll be interesting to see if there ever is another revised edition of the console for the Nintendo Switch, if Joy-Cons are going to be a huge part as to why they were redesigned, as to why they're releasing an upgraded console or whatever. But it's Nintendo. Like there was the whole issue with the N64 controller with kids getting the palm of their hands, like getting them all bloody. Like there's always been issues with Nintendo hardware that I honestly believe Nintendo's not going to do anything about it. They prefer to just settle out of court. Like I think it's just a cheaper way to go about this. They messed up. They might just settle out of court, settle these class action lawsuits out of court, or handle these complaints one by one, rather than overhauling the whole design process, overhauling the whole production line that they already have for Joy-Cons. Because I can't imagine how many Joy-Cons are out there in the market right now. I'm sure there's billions. So hey, there's two ways that they can go about this: settle it, or just wait for the next console and just take this as a learning experience. But yeah, if shameless plug here, if you ever want to fix your Joy-Con drift, here's a video that I did a few months ago, last year. If you want to check it out, I went step by step on how to replace your Joy-Con stick, and it's pretty easy. It's just very, very tedious. It's honestly, if I was able to do it, I'm a complete idiot when it comes to technical stuff. I know my way around certain stuff, but like you tell me like this is a resistor, this is a transistor, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But if I was able to fix it, you should be able to fix it. It's literally just about replacing a little stick and like using little cables to like connect here and there. And yeah, I'll link up the video up above if you want to check it out. It's really, really easy to follow. But yeah, folks, I mean, that's it. I thought this was gonna be like a 2-hour episode. I'm glad it wasn't, because I don't think anybody will want to hear my voice for 2 hours. But yeah, what do you think so far of the huge Ocarina of Time leak? What do you think of these beta builds? Are you excited to see if there's any more? I kind of doubt there's going to be any more information coming from this, because it was a reflash cartridge. A lot of the information was lost, but at the same time, it is, they're trying to recuperate either deleted data or corrupted data. So it might be a long process. But whatever keeps coming out of this, I'm very excited about. It just brought tears to my eyes. What do you think about the GTA 6 patent, the supposedly GTA 6 patent that was filed by Take-Two Interactive, Rockstar's mother company? Do you think this is for specifically the next GTA? Like, is it true that it's going to come out in 2 years? I mean, the patent was very, very new. It was just October 2020. It kind of feels that if this was going to be part of GTA 6, a game that's probably going to take, if it's already in development, is taking 5 to 6 years. I don't know. I kind of feel that some technology like this is pretty fundamental to the design of the game, that I don't think adding NPCs this late into the game, if it's been in development for the past, let's say, 3-4 years. I mean, I don't know. I don't fuck all about video game development and design, but I don't know. It might be just, something that's thought of later on in the game development, that then it might be smarter NPCs for GTA 6. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I'm sure they'll translate some stuff from Red Dead Redemption 2 AI technology into GTA 6. So I'm going to be following a lot of people in GTA 6, and I know that sounds fucking weird, but I'm really interested to see what people do from day-to-day basis. Fake people. Polygons. I'm following polygons. What do you think about this news about the Zelda designer retiring? I'm pretty sad about it. Tingle is one of my favorite Zelda characters. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying this, to be ironic. I'm not trying to be funny. He's honestly one of my favorite ones. He's got a lot of story behind him. He's very funny. He's very charismatic. And also there's this whole, I saw a video. I can't recall who it was from. It was one of the Zelda 2verse. There's this whole video about a theory of how Tingle is basically an overexploitive boss slash, I guess you could say, slave owner in Wind Waker. It's really interesting. Just look up Tingle theory and I'm sure you'll find it. And it's a Wind Waker Zelda theory. And yeah, it's pretty dark, but it's really interesting. What do you think also about this Melda? I was about to say Melda, Jesus. This Melee mod that lets you play volleyball, these new skins, this new addition of Wolf to Super Smash Bros. Melee. What do you think of the Uncharted movie getting delayed till next year? I was gonna check it out. I mean, it's always interesting to see how these video game movies turn out. I was surprised with Sonic. What was it, 2 years ago now? I think it was 2 years. Or it was last year. I think it was last year. I don't remember, but I was impressed with that movie and what they did. Shout out to the designers. I know you guys had to work overtime just to get that movie out. I'm sorry, but you guys did great. What do you think of the Xbox Live Gold price fiasco? Do you think it was a tactic to get more publicity, or do you actually think that they fucked up? Do you actually think that Microsoft messed up? I honestly think that it was both. I think they were trying to rile up some people, because I don't think they're that dumb to double the price out of nowhere. I don't think they would have done that. As I say, Microsoft, even though they're a company, their end goal is a profit. They are one of the most consumer friendly companies, video game companies out there, with Xbox Game Pass and a lot of their other offerings. Like it's yeah. I don't think they did it I don't think they did it without an ulterior motive. And I honestly think publicity was a big part of it. What do you think of this new Nintendo Switch console? Are you going to be getting it? The Monster Hunter Rise console? Are you going to be getting Monster Hunter Rise? As I said, download the demo. Check it out for yourself. It's a really, really good game. Cyberpunk 2077 mods. I'm not even going to ask if you're excited about it, because I know you are, because I can't wait to see what people do with this game. I can't wait. It'll be hilarious if people actually fix the game for CD Projekt Red. It's going to be both sad and hilarious. And I hope those modders get paid. And I hope they don't take down their modding. I hope not. It's just funny. And now Joycon Drift. Man, it seems like I'm going to be talking about Joycon Drift for the rest of my life. What do you think about that? What do you think about them getting investigated by the European Commission of Consumer Protection? It's gonna be a mess, yo. I just hope Nintendo addresses the situation. I think it's already reached its lowest point. Like, what else could you lose, Nintendo? Like, you guys are still killing it. People are still buying Switch consoles. Like, it's one of the most bought consoles, even with the new generation of consoles. Like, y'all can spare a few bucks here and there. But with that, folks, I've been True Fernie, your host for Search and Report. I will say, and I will try to get another Search and Report episode next week. As I said, I am in the process of switching jobs. I am, in the process of swapping jobs, so I will be a little bit busy, and I will try my best. I might just film it with my phone and just edit it on my phone. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do an audio version. Who knows? But yes, it'll be an interesting week coming up. And I just want you to know that I love doing these things, and I don't think I'll ever stop. I don't think I'll ever stop creating content, video game content. It is a passion of mine. I love video games, and they bring a lot of happiness to me. And I hope you find these gaming news podcasts valuable to you. And yeah. Thank you very much to every single person who listens to this. I really, really greatly appreciate. Thank you for everybody who watches the video version up on my YouTube channel. But be sure to listen to this podcast on Spotify. Just search for Search and Report on Spotify, Google Podcast, and any another podcast platform that you might be using. And yeah, links to my socials are down below. Please make sure to follow me on Twitch. Hopefully, I will be able to stream a lot more. It's just been crazy hectic couple of weeks, but yes, I do miss streaming, and it's fun, and I hope to catch you all there. Please make sure to follow me down there. With that, please take care of each other, but most importantly, take care of yourself. Peace.